Hello students, Namaste. Today we are going to begin a new unit, that is unit 5, body structure and life process. And before it, in junior classes you have studied about cells. This unit is very closely related with that unit because it is a union of cells. Tissue is union of cells. So in today's class, we will read about tissue, its types, and then mainly we will discuss about plant tissues. And today we will finish in this class about all the types of plant tissues. Okay, as usual, before beginning our lesson unit, we are going to think about one question that is very simple question, and I think within a moment you can answer it. Do all the organisms have tissues? Think once. Yes? Okay, let's see. Really they have or not? In our class, somewhere we will get it. But what is your answer? Some of you are saying yes, some no. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's see what is its answer. At first look here, this diagram shows not only tissue but interlink between tissue and other parts of our body. In unit evolution, we have studied that the life was started from chemicals. Yes, there was chemical evolution and then organic evolution, and in fact, in our body, still this thing is found. All the substances of the universe are made up of fine particles, to which we say atoms. Our body is also made of such things. So the main unit, which is invisible, very small, that is atom. When atoms unite, they form molecules, and we have studied that molecules may be micro or macro. Micromolecules change into macromolecules, and these macromolecules, when form some chemicals which can make their copy, that is the initiation of life. So here, more complex structure from molecule is cell. So cell is fundamental unit of our body, about which we have already finished. When cells unite together, they form tissues. In detail, we will do later. A number of tissues unite, they form organs. And when number of organs unite, they form body systems, or we say only systems. And an organism is a group of number of systems. You can see here only in this diagram, we are seeing only muscular system, but there is, because it is at outer region beneath the skin, that's why it is shown. And we know that inside that muscles, we have bones, that is skeletal system. There are blood vessels, heart, blood circulatory system, digestive system, respiratory system, about which you are familiar. Yes. So in this way, tissue is connected with the very fine structure to the most complex structure inside our body. Okay. So let's see what is tissue then. Tissue is a group of similar specialized cells which together perform certain special function. Okay. Many tissues are made of similar type of cell. In some cases, especially in plants, there are many types of cells also which form tissue, but their function is what? Similar. Okay. Now, you can note these points related with tissue, but here started from cell. Life of all the living beings begins from a cell, already told. In unicellular organisms, all the life processes occur in the same cell. Now you are going to get answer of the question to think. Here in unicellular organisms, all the life processes occur in the same cell. If there are not more cells, then how tissue, how organ, how system? So unicellular organs have no tissue. Yes, you have got. Okay. Multicellular organisms are composed of several cells. In them, similar type of cells do a particular work, which is called as tissue. Already we have finished. Tissues unite into organs, and the group of organs conduct a life process. Such group of organs is called as body system, or only system we mention, and these systems form whole organism. Okay. Now, That thing we have seen in animals. Now you have to see it in plants. So plants also have tissue or not? Because they are living beings, they should have, isn't it? So look here, it is plant. This plant is divided into two parts. That part which is found in ground, that is called as root system, and the parts found above ground is called as shoot system. Yes. So you are familiar with these parts in very junior classes. Here I have to make you understand that any part of the plant, here only that root here is shown. Root here, or you can say with root here, little bit part of root is in microscopic structure. So look here, it consists of number of such rounded, polygonal and oval, elongated, different shaped structures, and they are different type of cells for different type of tissues. They are root hairs. The outer layer of this root, the outermost layer is epidermis. And like that, there is another layer around the conductive tissues, or we say conducting tissues also. So that is called as endodermis. Okay. So here below endodermis there is pericycle, they are xylem, and outer these polygonal cells are phloem. About them you have learned these terms. Xylem. What does xylem do? Yes, xylem conducts the flow of water and minerals from root to leaves, and phloem distributes food from leaves to all the parts. Yes, in class 7, 8 you have finished about it. Okay, and here these thick layer of cells are here. This gap between these tissues is made up of similar type of cells. They are called cortex or pith. Here is pith and here is cortex. So these terms not necessary for here in tissue, not necessary to know, but if you know it, that will help you to understand well. Okay, and combinedly pericycle, xylem, phloem and pith is termed as still. Still, not steel, still. Yes. Okay. So that is below endodermis, and in between endodermis and epidermis there is cortex. It is a type of plant tissue about which we will read study. I am not saying you name, but here it is named as, okay, you can say, know the name also, that is parenchyma, because we don't know what is parenchyma, so it may be difficult to understand. About that we will see later, we will discuss later. So it is plant tissue. Another here not only root, in stem also, in leaf also, the same things are found. The outermost layer here, this yellow layer, yes, that is what? Just dermal, to which we told epidermis. Yes, and then they are conducting tissues. Conducting tissues, xylem and phloem, are combinedly called as vascular bundles, and they are also synonymed by vascular tissue. Yes, and the other tissues except them are called as ground tissues. So look, everywhere there are dermal, then conducting tissues and ground tissue. The green one, ground tissues, blue one, that is what? Blue one, vascular tissue, and the yellow one, that is dermal tissue. Not only in leaf, that is found in stem, that is found in root, everywhere. So all the parts are made up of, all the parts of plants are made up of what? Tissues. Yes. Okay. So how many types of tissues are found? Obviously two, because there are two main categories of living beings around us, either animals or plants normally. So tissues are also of two types, plant tissue and animal tissue. Okay. Plant tissue is divided into two types, meristematic and permanent. One characteristics also you keep in your mind. Meristematic tissues are those tissues which have capacity of cell division, and all the plant tissues do not have capacity of cell division. Those which have no capacity of cell division, they are called as permanent tissues. Okay. Now, different examples of meristematic tissues are apical meristem, lateral meristem, intercalary meristem. What are they? What is their function? We will discuss later. Yes. At first, just keep the outline in your mind. Permanent tissues are of major three types. They are simple permanent tissue, complex permanent tissue, and special permanent tissue. Their subtypes are also there. About them also we will read, but here they are not mentioned. Simple permanent tissues are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Fast? You felt yes, it is very fast. Parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. And then complex permanent tissue is of two types. You are familiar with them: phloem and xylem. And then special permanent tissue are also of two types. They are glandular and lactiferous. So here these terms are not given. Later we will read about them. Okay. Only main types are mentioned here. Animal tissue is divided into four major types. Animal tissue is divided into four major types. They are epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue, and nervous tissue. And their subtypes are also mentioned here. Later we will discuss, because our today's topic is only plant tissue. So you have to concentrate on these plant tissues only. Okay. Now, what is plant tissue? Plants are made of same or different types of group of cells. Such groups are called as plant tissues. So definition is very simple to that means very similar to the tissue, because it is also a type of tissue. Plants have different types of tissues for their different functions. As we know that tissues have their particular function. Now, on the basis of nature of the plant tissues, they are divided into two major types. They are meristematic and permanent tissue. So, main thing I told you, meristematic are those who have capacity of cell division. You know cell division? By cell division, organisms make or add, that means they make new cells by which they grow. Yes. So, for growth mainly, for reproduction also, new cells are required to form. So, that process of forming new cells is called as cell division. So, that is found only in meristematic tissue, not in permanent tissue. Okay. Now, meristematic tissue, here diagram is shown. Only polygonal type of cells are shown here, but keep in mind that they may be of any shape. Meristematic tissues are of many shapes, but they do not have any gap between them. The cells are highly packed. The cells do not have any space between them. So, intercellular space is gapped. And look, nucleus, it is bigger than normal. So, they have big nucleus, and the cytoplasm is dense. They have dense cytoplasm, means thick cytoplasm. Yes. And cell wall is very thin. Cell wall is very thin. Generally, plant cells have thick cell wall. But this plant cell has what? The cell found in this tissue has thin cell wall. So, they are a speciality of this tissue, and one main speciality I have told you, that they have capacity of cell division. Yes. Okay. So, only few of the plant tissues have capacity of cell division. Such plant tissues are meristematic tissue. The tissue does not have intercellular space. For your note, here I am giving it. It has big nucleus and dense cytoplasm. Meristematic tissue is found at the tip of the root and shoot. I will show you by diagram later. At the tip of the root, stem or shoot, stem is just a part of shoot. That means the tip, or you can say apex of root or shoot and root. There are this type of tissues. That's why, have you remembered that sometimes in our flower pots, when any plant becomes very big, then what do we do to stop its height? Yes, the tip is cut. Yes, when tip is cut, branches come, and if again the tip of branches are cut, next branch comes. So, by cutting the tip, we can stop the growth of or height of the plant. Okay, that is why Because there is presence of that meristematic tissue which makes the plant tall. Yes, good. Okay, so meristematic tissue is found at the tip of the root and shoot both. Main function of this tissue is to help in growth of plant. As I told you, meristematic tissues are of three types. On the basis of the location they are found, they are classified into three types, to which I am going to show you in this diagram. Consider it is a plant. It does not look like a plant, symbolic diagram only. Here that is tip of shoot, like that at tip of root also apical meristems are found, because they are found at apices, at apex. That's why that is called as what? Apical meristem. Apical meristem, closely related with apex. And at lateral side, lateral meristem are found. Where are they located? Name of meristematic tissue is that. And in short, meristematic tissue, instead of so long name, only meristem is used. Apical meristem, lateral meristem. Easy to use, isn't it? Okay. And now here at nodes, that is beneath the petiole of the, here at two regions, beneath the petiole of leaf and at what? Node. There is intercalary meristem. Okay. So what is their speciality? Look here. Apical meristem found at the tip of root and stem, increases height of plants and length of root, okay, or length of roots. Lateral meristem found at the lateral sides of stem and root and increases girth of plant. Girth means that is diameter. If it is plant stem, then here this girth. So thickness of plant is done by what? Lateral meristem. And intercalary meristem, you are seeing clearly, found at the base of the leaves, above the nodes at two regions. So you can say base of the leaves and above the nodes. Okay. At these two parts, intercalary meristem is found, and it increases the axis of plants. Yes. So that wideness of this, what is node? Wideness of node, and then this length is made by what? Intercalary meristem. Okay. So it was about meristematic tissue. We have finished about meristematic tissue. Now, what have you learned? Before it, we discussed about what is tissue, how many types of tissues are, how are they related with different components of our body, and then we discussed that how many types of plant tissues are there, and out of them we discussed about which tissue? Meristematic tissue. Now let's see what have you learned. First question is, what is tissue? Easily, very easily you can define it. What is tissue? Next one is, what is the difference between plant tissue and animal tissue? We have not discussed, but we have used the table to show plant tissue and animal tissue. At present, you can say easily that plant tissue is made up of plant cells, animal tissue is made up of animal cells. There are other differences also. In next class, we will discuss about it in detail. Okay, but simply at present, you can differentiate them on the basis of knowledge you have got. Okay, whatever you know, you can take. You can write there. In how many types plant tissues are classified mainly? So they are of two types. You know it. Okay, what is meristematic tissue? Just we have finished about meristematic tissue. What is its speciality? Yes, that is only they have capacity of cell division. And last one is, which meristematic tissue or which meristem is responsible for the girth of plant, for the wideness of the plant? Yes, just we have finished. It is lateral meristem. Very good. So we have finished about meristematic tissue. Let's see how many types of permanent tissue are there. What are permanent tissue? So at first, permanent tissue, already you have introduced that those tissues which have no capacity of cell division. So when meristematic tissue loses the capacity of cell division, it changes into permanent tissues. And this sentence will solve a very nice problem can be asked you. For example, if a plant is when young, at that time it has a certain amount of meristematic tissue, certain amount of permanent tissue. But when the plant becomes a tree and permanent tissue cannot grow, then how does its number increase? How does its amount increase? That solution is here. Because permanent tissue do not divide, yes, it is true. But meristematic tissues, when lose their capacity of cell division, they change into what? Permanent tissue. Yes, easy to answer. But without that knowledge, it was difficult to answer. Okay, it has thick or thin cell wall. Some of the permanent tissues have thin cell wall, some have thick cell wall. It consists of living or dead cells. Some permanent tissues have living cells, some have dead cells. And permanent tissues may be of three types, about which already I told you. They are simple permanent tissue, complex permanent tissue, and special permanent tissue. So now we are going to discuss about simple permanent tissue. By name, it is very easy to say what is simple permanent. Simple permanent tissue is, you know that what is permanent tissue, not necessary to repeat again. But simple permanent is that which has single type of cells in it, not more than one type. That tissue is called as what? Simple permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue, yes, so that is given similar type of cells. And it has very simple structure too. Because there are not many types of cells, so structure is simple. It has intercellular space and plastids. And remember, all the permanent tissues have that. That means intercellular space. I am not saying that all of them have plastid too, but intercellular space is found in all of them. Okay, so you can write this point in all of the permanent tissues. Okay, but simple permanent tissue has plastid also. The tissue helps in protection and support because there are some rigid cells also. They provide protection and support, and because they have plastids, so they help in preparation and storage of food. That means they prepare and store food. Okay. On the basis of shape of cells, it is divided into three types. We are talking about simple permanent tissue. Yes. So it is again divided into three types. They are parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So study one by one about them. Parenchyma. Here parenchyma has thinner cell wall relative to other permanent tissue. Out of other permanent tissues, parenchyma has the thinnest cell wall. Yes, others are thick. Another thing, they have chloroplast. Here it is not labeled, but you can see that green structures, they are chloroplast. Yes, intercellular space already we have discussed. They have vacuole. Yes. Okay. So look, what points can we give related with it? Parenchyma is made up of thin cell wall and consists of living cells. All the cells are living of this, all the cells of this tissue are living. It is located about all the parts of the plant. When I introduced you the tissues found in plant's body, then I told that cortex, I told pith. So they cover maximum region of that plant. So they are made up of what? Parenchyma. So it is located about all the part of the plant, in leaf, stem, root, everywhere, and maximum volume is filled by, covered by it. If parenchyma has chloroplast, it is called chlorenchyma. Remember the new term. Before it we use three terms: parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Now another term is used here. What is it? Chlorenchyma, because of chloroplast, chlorophyll. And if it has large ear spaces, here ear spaces, that means in that cellular space, if it is very large, usually it is found in aquatic plants, then it is called as aerenchyma. So be careful. Parenchyma, chlorenchyma, arenchyma. They are of same types. So arenchyma and chlorenchyma are also parenchyma, just of a special situation. If there is chlorophyll in parenchyma, chloroplast in parenchyma, then it is called chlorenchyma. If there is larger space in parenchyma, it is called as arenchyma. Okay, so you will not be confused, I think. Its main function is preparation and storage of food. But if it is arenchyma, then it makes plant body lighter and makes easy to float on water. Okay, it was about parenchyma. Now collenchyma. Collenchyma is next type, and look here, cell wall. It is thicker. Not only that, look at corners. Ooh, they are more thick. Thick cell wall, and here they are thickened due to the deposition of extracellulose and pectin. They are special type of carbohydrates. So their deposits makes the corners thicker. It is the main feature, main characteristic of collenchyma. Yes, here intercellular space is not seen, but don't have that misconception that it does not have intercellular space. It has. Okay, but in diagram it is difficult to show. That's why it is not shown here. In fact, it has intercellular space. Okay, students. Now, collenchyma is made of thick cell wall and consists of living cells. Here are also no dead cells. Next, it is located at epidermis. Epidermis means outermost layer. I told you epidermis and then hypodermis. Yes. So, it is located at epidermis of stem and petiole. Petiole is leaf stalk. It has cellulose and pectin deposited at the margin of cells. So, that makes thicker cell wall. Collenchyma may have chloroplast. Not necessary that it has. It may have. Yes. Next, its main function is to provide strength to the young part of plants, bring flexibility in them, makes the plants flexible, and it also helps in preparation of food. Okay, so it is about collenchyma. Now the last type of simple permanent tissue is sclerenchyma. So here look, no cytoplasm, no vacuole. Yes, only cell wall. It shows that these cells are dead. No nucleus. So sclerenchyma consists of dead cells. All the fibers found in plants, all the hard structures found in plants, that they may be at the covering of seed. Like in coconut, you have seen very hard layer is found. In gram seed, in pea seed, also there is fine means thin covering, which is hard. That means harder than other parts. Even though it is thin, but it is harder. Okay. So these things are what? Sclerenchyma. Okay, another example, very familiar example. When you eat pears, naspati, then you found big hard structure at the central region. Yes, that is also a form of what? Sclerenchyma. Yes, now you have identified them. Sclerenchyma is made of thick cell wall and consists of dead cells. Cells are elongated and spindle shaped. Spindle shape, that shape pointed at ends and wider at middle. Yes, and it has no protoplasm. So no protoplasm means what? Dead. It is located in root, stem and veins of leaves. It is also found in the covering of seeds and fruits. It may be in the form of fibers and sclerates. The stone cell found in pears is sclerates. Yes, and like that hard covering of seeds, that is also sclerates. Its main function is to provide mechanical support to plants. It does not help in preparation and storage of food. Yes, but only in what? Mechanical support. But before that, we did about parenchyma and collenchyma. They may support in strength and they also help in what? Preparation and storage of food. Okay. Now, Complex permanent tissue is second type. So complex permanent tissue is that tissue which consists of many type of cells, more than one type of cells, not a single type of cells. So here the tissues, the examples of this tissue, the types also, subtypes also we can say, we are going to read xylem and phloem. They consist of 4 types each. Xylem is also made up of 4 type of cells. Phloem is also made up of 4 type of cells. Okay. So complex permanent tissue is made up of living and dead cells. Some of them have living cells, some have dead cells. Okay. Different type of cells also there, as I discussed you. Its main function is to help in transportation. So that is vascular tissue, and provide mechanical support. Vascular tissue, I introduced you that those tissue which help in transportation, xylem and phloem, already I told you. It is of 2 types, xylem and phloem. So look here in the diagram. Here this region, the green one shows phloem, and this orange one shows what? Xylem. So that green line, phloem, this is xylem. Remember that phloem is superficial in plant's body and xylem is at depth. So here that is xylem, and this region is what? Phloem. Okay, and in between xylem and phloem there is cambium. Cambium is another layer. During grafting, grafting you have done in class 8, when 2 stems, 2 branches of different plants are cut and kept in a particular adjustment, then if these 2 cambiums, means cambium of this plant and that plant, become opposite, then only there is more chance of the success of what? Grafting. Okay. So that thing is maintained in the case of grafting. Okay. Let's go about xylem. So only in xylem 4 type of cells I told you. They are xylem basals, xylem fibers. Yes, basals and tracheids main, basal and tracheids, and then xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. So parenchyma is a tissue. That parenchyma which is found in xylem is called as xylem parenchyma, and those sclerenchyma, fibrous sclerenchyma are found in it. They are called as xylem fibers. Okay, and main, because fibers and parenchyma are found in phloem also. So they are not main cells of it. Main cells are only basals and tracheids, and both of them are dead. That's why it is told that xylem, or the main cells of xylem, are dead. Here parenchyma is alive, but it is not found only in xylem, it is found in phloem also. So main cells of this tissue are dead. Okay. Xylem consists of mainly dead cells and also called as wood, because it is hard. That's why it is termed as what? Wood. And phloem is softer, that is termed as bast, B-A-S-T, about which we will discuss later. It contains vessels, tracheids, xylem fiber and xylem parenchyma. It is located at inner part of plants, that is at depth in plant's body. It transports water and minerals from root to different parts of plant. So it is about xylem, and these points are given in such a way that after finishing about phloem, you can compare them. Okay, so that they will help you to compare xylem and phloem. Now look here, phloem. Phloem also consists of 4 type of cell. This is sieve tube cell, that bamboo-like sieve tube cell. There is companion cell also. They are companion cells, except that they have phloem, parenchyma and phloem fiber. Phloem fiber is not labeled here, but that is found. So how many types? Sieve tube shell, then companion cell, then parenchyma, that is phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. 4 type of cells are here, and as I told you that fibers and parenchyma are not only in it, so that is not its own, I mean not only of it, not it is main cell of phloem. So main cell of phloem are sieve tube cell and companion cell, and both of them are living. That's why we say that phloem consists of, our main cells of phloem are living, are alive. Phloem consists of mainly living cells. It consists of sac tube shell, companion cells, phloem fiber, and phloem parenchyma. It is located at superficial part of plants and also called as bast. What was called that xylem? Wood. And it is called as what? Bast. Good. Okay. It transports food prepared in leaves to different parts of body. So we have finished two types of plant tissues. Simple permanent tissue and then complex permanent tissue. Okay students, now we are going to read about the last type of plant tissue, that is a special permanent tissue. And in it we will discuss about some such plant tissues which do something special in plants. Yes, in plants a special type of tissues are found for special functions which are called special permanent tissues. So what is special? Later we will discuss. They are modified from simple permanent tissue. Yes, and they help in secretion and excretion. Plants also excrete. Don't be surprised. Plants also excrete and they secrete different type of juices. In diagram also you can see that it is resin coming out from plant stem, and here in papaya there is milky substance coming out, that is latex. So such things are produced, secreted from plants. There are different plants which do these things, about which we will discuss. Some of them will be shown you here in diagram. Okay, so special permanent tissues are of two types. They are glandular and lactiferous. So what are glandular special permanent tissue? At first identify these plants. Can you identify it? We say dhaturo, datura metal, dhaturo. It is tulasi, basil plant, holy basil, tulasi, and it is very common in hilly region and Himalayan region. Yes, that is what? Pine, dhupi. Yes, and what is it? Yes, orange. So not only orange, the group of lemon, all the plants have some smells. You know that when anybody takes or eats oranges nearby you, then smell comes towards you. That comes because of what? That glandular tissue found in it that produces the scent, the smell. They also have smells. Yes, here basil also has a smell. Datura produces some toxin, some poisonous substances, okay, which is stored in its seed, in its other parts, that is used as medicine also. Okay, so glandular tissues secrete enzyme. The term enzyme you have listened. Enzyme is biological catalyst that conducts the different life processes occur in bodies. Hormones which are responsible for growth of organisms, and then digestive juices which helps in digestion, oil, resin, gum, they are very similar. Yes, so these things are secreted by these plants, glandular plants. Okay, next is lactiferous tissue. That is the last one. Name is lactiferous. You know, lacto chocolate. Yes, that is milky chocolate. Yes, lactogen. Yes, lactose, that is enzyme. So lacto word is related with milk. So those plants which produce some milk-like substance, in the case of plants, they are not called as milk, they are termed as latex. They are termed as what? Latex. Latex is milky secretion of plant. Yes, I will show you. Here you are seeing that this is rubber plant, which is not common in our country. This rubber plant, the rubber plant, ornamental plant is not that. It is different. Big trees are found and they are used for rubber industries. Our rubber plant, which is used as ornamental plant in our houses, that is similar to that, but not really rubber plant. Okay, that one identified, very common wild plant. We say aank, not aakha, aank. Yes, in Tarai region it is also called as madar. Yes, and it is also, it gives some milky substance. And in particular places, if you are using carelessly, they harm also us. They can harm us. So they are used in medicines. Okay. Later you can find out yourself that what type of diseases are cured by using it. Yes, very common, lalupate. And you have remembered that if leaf is broken, stem is broken, milky substance comes out. This one is poppy. Poppy. That also secretes milk. And it is what? Banyan tree. Yes, bara. So in all of them, there are some others also, but only few plants are shown here which produce what? Latex. So they have lactiferous tissue. Lactiferous tissue secrete milky substance called latex. So students, I think you have understood about different type of plant tissues. So I think you have a clear-cut mind map that plant tissue is divided into two. They are permanent tissue and meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue is divided into three. They are apical, lateral, and then what? Intercalary. Then permanent is divided into also again divided into three. That is what? Simple permanent tissue, complex permanent tissue, and yes, special permanent tissue. In simple permanent tissue, we found that they are divided into parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. In parenchyma, two new terms were added. Remember? Chlorenchyma and arenchyma. And in compound permanent tissue, we did about xylem and phloem. And finally, in special permanent tissue, we did about what? Granular tissue and lactiferous tissue. So now see what have you learned? So try to answer these questions. Here one multiple choice question is given. Which tissue prepares food as well as makes the plant strong? That means does both the function. Find out, is it parenchyma, collenchyma, chlorenchyma, or sclerenchyma? What may be that? Yes. So parenchyma, is it correct? Let's see. I think if you are saying parenchyma, it is not correct. It is what? Collenchyma, because parenchyma is especially related with what? Preparation and storage of food. Yes. Collenchyma does both the work. Okay. What is the next? Don't miss now to answer correctly. Which tissue has dead cells? Very easy. Is it arenchyma, parenchyma, sclerenchyma, or collenchyma? Guessed? Yes, that is what? Sclerenchyma. Now next, third one. Which set of following tissues shows the sequence of wood and bast? You have to find out the sequence order. At first wood is given and then bast is given. So find out, is it xylem and phloem, or it is phloem and xylem, or it is xylem and glandular, or phloem and glandular? Difficult, but not so difficult. It is what? Xylem and phloem. Yes. Next one. In which tissue tracheids and vessels are found? Yes, easily you can guess it. That is what? Xylem. And you were told that they are dead also. Yes. Okay. Now there are some subjective questions to which you have to copy in your exercise book and you will write its answer. They are define lactiferous tissue. If a plant has very less parenchyma in it, which function of it will be affected? Think, search, and then write. Yeah. Differentiate xylem and phloem. You have to write differences between xylem and phloem. If permanent tissue cannot divide into new cells, how does its number differ in younger stage and adult stage of the same plant? Do you understand? I explained it when I was explaining about different type of tissues. So you will try to recall them. If you like to control the height of a plant in your kitchen garden, what change will you make in the plant? Or what change you will make in the plant? So you will try to write answer of these questions and will show to your teacher. That's all for today's friends. See you in next class. Namaste.